the private indications conversation is so funny to me. Every couple of weeks, someone says, "Hey, I know people are a little worried about Trey Lance, but the Niners privately tell him they really like him. But when no one else is around, they say that he's going to be the starting quarterback. When no one is within earshot, they have his back. But when people are around, they act like they don't know him. What is the private indication? What is that? What do you?
I think this whole thing to me is funny because to me this is just somebody needing to have something get out in the news cycle every once in a while because it's been repetitive. Trey Lance said it himself between the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl that he expects to be that.
Right.
Well, he said a couple of things. One, he said that he was not told that he was told that there wouldn't be a quarterback competition. That wasn't the top of a conversation during his exit interview. He wasn't told he was going to be given the job, but he expects it to be. There was a point in that conversation in which he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be the guy," and then he had to kind of walk it back.
Right.
You had the head coach come out a couple days ago, about a month ago, and say, "Yeah, when they asked if Trey Lance is ready to play, and he's like, "Yeah, that's why we're trying to trade Jimmy.
We're trying to trade Jimmy Garoppolo." Yep, I like that. Yeah. I appreciated that.
I mean, what else do you really need to do other than just kind of?
My thing is like when Kyle does the like, "Hey man, we're trying to trade Jimmy. That's why we feel like okay, then name trade the starter." Like you're not pumping up Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value by like doing this little thing. You're not. Everyone knows Jimmy. Everyone has an opinion of Jimmy. You can't influence it. You tried. The season's over. Stop.
No, and he's he even mentioned it too, right? He never named a quarterback last year as the starter, and so he's going to continue to play this little game throughout the year.
Yes, he did. They always said it was Jimmy's team. It's Jimmy's team. It's Jimmy's team. It's Jimmy's team. They said it over and over and over again. At least maybe I'm tripping.
No, I think you're right in that
Yeah.
standpoint that they kind of said it was his team, but every time he'd be asked as far as who's going to start this week, he wouldn't give an answer.
I don't know. That's true. That is true. He actually took great pleasure in trolling us for months with that once a training camp winner. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're following the news and you're just kind of following this thing, it's whether it's Jeremy Fowler or you or me or anybody else. I mean, we could all come out and give the same, I don't have the cachet of anybody else, but it's all the same thing. Everybody's just saying the same thing. We know he's going to be the starting quarterback. Otherwise, what are we doing here? Brian J says
Shanahan's going to trade Deebo to the Jets so Saleh gets to keep his job and the Shanahan tree continues to grow. 200 IQ Shanahan playing Jets. Yeah. My guy's struggling here. Take my best player so I can. No. I really do. Here's the thing. What I think why this is going to work out, a big reason is that Deebo and Kyle seem to have a really tight relationship. I think probably Kyle isn't that involved right now because he's the last line of defense. He's the head coach. It's not his job. But if things go really, really haywire, he can always step in and be like, Parak, give him what he wants. What are we doing here? I mean, he essentially did that last year with Trent Williams. So I don't know. Maybe Deebo's different and he'll just like say, I don't want to play for this franchise anymore. I don't like your fans. I don't like you. I don't like you. You're cool. I don't like you. Or maybe Kyle will be like, look, Deebo's the team. Thanks very much, Parak. I'll take it from here. It could happen. That's what I think will happen.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's going to come down again. If he's here next Thursday night at the end of the night or next Friday at the end of the night, he's going to be a 49er in 2022. They're not going to trade him after the draft for draft picks. I can tell you that.
Okay, before we leave, give me a percentage likelihood that the Niners trade Deebo during the draft.
I think it's less than 25%. I don't think it's 50-50. I've heard some people say that, but I think it's closer to 25.
Yeah, I think it's less than 1% that the Niners trade Deebo Samuel. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, there you go. That's even better. I mean, I think this guy needs to be on the 49ers. I just do. I mean, I think if these guys trade Deebo Samuel, I mean, it'd be almost a fireable offense, really.
I think so too. And I can't fathom the people that would defend it. It's going to be, but it's not going to happen. But I can already see that, parallel universe where it happens and everyone's like, this is smart. And I'm like, what are we talking about? I don't even root for this team and I'm outraged. All right. Last one. What about Jimmy Garoppolo? Likelihood he gets traded during the draft or not because you said it could be after, right?
I don't think, well, I mean, if he gets traded during the draft, it'll be after the first round because I think the only team that's going to trade for him around that time is Carolina, and they're not going to do it until after they make their pick on Thursday night.
See, the Niners need to be careful. They keep waiting. And it seems to me that if you keep waiting, there's always going to be a quarterback who leapfrogs Jimmy Garoppolo. It might not be Baker Mayfield. It could be Kyler Murray. It could be someone else that we didn't even know about that would be on the market. That's essentially what ruined the Niners with the Colts.
Sure.
They didn't know that Matt Ryan would be on the market. They thought, we got the Colts. We got them where we want them. And then the Colts made out. So I'm just saying, to me, like, it's never going to be Jimmy. Jimmy's never going to be the, like, he's the one. He's the best one available. Let's have – he's never going to be that house in Montclair that gets 10 bids on it. It's just – I'm sorry. I'm only thinking in terms of real estate right now.
No, you're right.
I've been studying for 1 week. He's not going to be that guy. He's the fixer-upper. He's the one with the foundation that's messed up and stairs that are messed up and the roof that's messed up and it's 100 years old and it's like,
yeah,
that's him. I mean, there's going to be like one offer on the house, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. No, I don't even think that Jimmy Garoppolo was the fixer-upper. Jimmy Garoppolo was the flip my house guy. That's who he is, because he's the guy you want to get. You want to pretty him up, and then you want to sell him to somebody else. That's who Jimmy Garoppolo is, because they're not trying.
That's true. Just like put in like a new kitchen. Don't touch the foundation. Be like, it's good. He's in a good neighborhood. The neighbors are great.
Yeah,
it's charming.
Uh-huh.
It's charming.
Look how nice it looks.
Great leadership.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's got great leadership. Exactly. There you go.
The intangibles are what you're buying here. $3 million. Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. In Berkeley.
All right. Well, I've gotten a private indication that the show is coming to a close. Thank you very much to the 49ers for inventing the concept of private indications in sports. All the private indications I've gotten from people who said they were going to hire me, but then didn't. Trey, you better be careful. Private indications mean nothing. Nothing.
You got to be careful with these guys. They can be slicksters. I'm telling you.
It's true. You better become really good friends with Kyle the way Deebo is. I think he is, though. They're talking. They say they text each other, so that's good.
Well, they better get that deal done. That's all I have to say. That's the one that I keep pushing on it, and it's funny. I actually saw somebody brought out the article from last year that I wrote for Sports Illustrated where I called him a gadget player as a reason to why they shouldn't be giving him the big money.
Hey, man. Well, times change. Things happen. Deebo Samuel proved himself. I mean, can't we react to new evidence? The Niners should.
Yeah, well, here, real quick.
I felt the same way last year. The Niners felt the same way last year.
Yeah, I mean, real quick before we get off, the whole thing with Deebo Samuel, the 1 year thing, I mentioned it earlier. Deebo Samuel last year, like you put it up, right? The numbers that he had in year 2 were so close to Jerry Rice in terms of the all-purpose yards, right?
Yeah, they really are.
And go back to what he did in 2019.
Last year was up there with some of Rice's best years. They really were. You can check it out.
Yeah, and his rookie season, he actually had more touchdowns than Jerry Rice, and he had more yards than Jerry Rice.
Oh, damn! Say it again for the people in the back. What?
Deebo Samuel's rookie year, he had more all-purpose yards and total touchdowns than Jerry Rice had his rookie year in 1985.
But Jerry Rice wasn't good his rookie year.
No, and it's funny because you can't really have this conversation because everybody knows that he was right. The Hall of Fame Jerry Rice. They don't remember the process that he went through to get there.
I wasn't alive back then, but that's great knowledge. Thank you very much for using that comparison. Yeah, if Deebo Samuel didn't have a good rookie season, then no wide receiver in Niners history has had a good rookie season.